Hello everybody, welcome back to my daily Pokemon Journal series. In this episode, I got a little bit of I just did a basic recording this morning, so we're doing another React style again, where I recorded it. I'm just going to talk over it now, instead of posting it this morning. My schedule's a little weird right now. I don't always have the time to properly record in the mornings, so just kind of reacting this way. As you can see, I'm running the Blastoise, I'm running the Flareon, the Sylveon, trying to collect up that milk. Now, you can see I'm getting pretty high up there in the amount of milk. I'm collecting it slowly over time. Trying to also collect that corn on the Beware, as yeah, corn's pretty important for the build that I'm going for this week. With the scones, I need quite a bit of it stockpiled for next week. So my first task is to stockpile up the right ingredients. I've already checked off the ginger requirement. Only needed 77, or only needed like 60, upper 60s of that. I ended up with 77, so I'm set there. Just working on that corn, which I need like 320 of basically, and about 190 milk. So daily gift, got one Poke Biscuit. Pretty useful. I need more Poke Biscuits. I am ready for seeing the next I'm ready for the new Pokemon, which I will get a little into today. I talked about them in my announcement video, but we have a bit more data on them now, and now I've kind of figured out what I want to get off them. I'm going to be primarily hunting the Vikavolt. I know that's kind of the standard answer, but I've got my reasons, and I think it fits really, really well with the teams that I have. So, alrighty, for daily cooking, this is going to be sad. Very, very sad. Because this is all I made. As of right now, stockpiling ingredients, I just can't afford to spend most of them. So, fancy apple salad it is, with just the fancy apples. They're pitiful meals. So pitiful meals. Look at that, big old 2.5k. That's like the same amount of value that I can get out of, like, I'm trying to think, how much is a single berry proc on Old Gold Power Plant from my Raichus at this point? It probably only takes like 3 to get 2.5k, honestly. Not quite on top, but oh well. As you can see, I only hit about Ultra 2 at top this week, because later on I did transfer to OGPP. I did not capture that on screen as I was doing it during my 15-minute break at work, so was not recording it. But sleep data review. So, and I'm going to do a bit more than just this pre-recorded video. I've got a bit more that I want to show off and talk about after this video session is done. But I got a 99% sleep score. Just couldn't quite get 100%. And my gosh, I apparently slumbered last night. Yeah. So, I guess without going too much into my personal life, right now so I just started a new job, and the schedule has it that I'm supposed to be working 2 to 10 p.m. I will be once I'm done with training, but as they're training me, they're having me during the 9 to 5 shift, so I have to get up earlier, but I still go to bed later, because I just can't, I'm a night owl, so. As you can see, I saw garbage. There was nothing good except for maybe the Larvitar. I already have a Tyranitar, so Larvitar isn't really necessary. But what else am I going to catch? And if I'm going to feed it, I may as well catch it. And you know what? Maybe I get a jacked mono ginger one, and then I eventually start reinvesting. Even though I like my current Tyranitar. So, as you'll see here in a minute, I'm not investing in the Riolu. Lucario is just sad. It's so much worse than the Swalot. Swalot, I think, is like, if you're going to go for a Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon, Swalot is just the best option by quite a bit. As you can see, the Igglybuff was hungry this morning, but I didn't go for it because I don't really need a better healer. I've got my long-term healer, my Gardevoir. I know it's not the best, but it's shiny, and I don't, honestly, I'd feel bad if I caught a better healer because I want to run the shiny, so just the Larvitar. I don't really like the Marowak. Marowak is one of the worst berry specialists in this game, if not the worst berry specialist in the game. So, didn't bother. Why not terrible? Riolu terrible. Igglybuff unnecessary. So, sent the Larvitar candy, because it's a no-brainer. People need Larvitar candies. Larvitar is huge. But, yeah. Now, it really did hurt to see only 2,700 Dream Shards. Oh, I need Dream Shards, especially now that the pot size is bigger. Jolly Nature, yeah, that's Ingredient Finding down. I saw Jolly Nature and was like, woof, this is gonna be bad. Yep, Ingredient Finding down. I know the Jolly Nature real well because it's what's on my Gardevoir. And I've just thought about the Gardevoir a lot. I've punched it into a lot of sites, so I know it pretty well. Anyway, as you can see, yep, you just transferred the Larvitar, and that's pretty much it for that video. So, yep. Now, I want to get a little bit into what's going on right now. Now, as you can hear, we got the dope and awesome Old Gold Power Plant music. Now, as you can see, I'm still collecting corn and milk. Because like I said, I needed about 190 milk. Actually, the exact number is 189 for my Tea Time Corn Scones next week. So I'm just running all the milk Pokemon I can. So, yes, give me that milk. I'm also running all of them for the Beware and the Gardevoir for corn. Let's see, where am I at? I'm kind of hoping that before I put this thing to bed, that I can... not quite there on the milk. Not going to quite be there. I should have it in the morning, though, and then I can finally swap out all my milk gatherers to start building up a berry bomb on a few of the Pokemon. And then I can swap out the corn farmers when I actually get there on the corn. Wait, how much corn was I at? 219. Cool, cool. If I look at what my goal was... If we look at my goal... 315 is what I'm looking for, so I still need about 100 more corn. Honestly, I may be one of that Beware to the end of the week. I might not get to stack on all the Pokemon I wanted to, but I'm real close on this milk, so I'm excited for that. Okie dokie. So yeah, Old Gold Power Plant, I am a huge fan of the music. I am a huge fan of the aura. It's so pretty. Just look at that ray of light. 10 out of 10. I'm a huge fan of the new island. Look at that green Snorlax. Man, we thought that the Cyan Snorlax tricked new players into thinking they had a shiny. I'm sure if it weren't for the fact that you have to be a really experienced player to get here, you'd mistake this one for shiny too. Just because this one doesn't even look blue. It's just straight up green. But I think that's neat. It gives it a bit of a unique identity. Anyway. So yeah, I migrated to the Old Gold Power Plant, and I upgraded my pot size once. As you can see, I have a max of 60 now. I do not have the Dream Shards for this. I only have 45,000, so I need to be building those up. Which is very unfortunate, because if I take a look at my bag, I've only got, like, 12 Cluster S's and 2 Cluster M's. That is not even close to enough to get me there, so... Also... New feature, press and hold the back button brings you straight back here. I forgot about that until just there, so happy to be able to use it for the first time. Alrighty. The month turned over, so last night I bought a new main skill seed, and I have not bought the sub skill seed yet. I'm a little bit shy off of it. I might wait a little bit on the sub skill seed because I don't quite need it right away. But I have a lot of Pokemon that could use sub-skill seeds, and a lot that are RNG because they have, like, an inventory skill in there that's blocking progression. So I'm like, I don't want to be gambling that much, so I really do need to be buying the sub-skill seeds every month. But yeah, I put the main skill seed that I purchased into my Entei, and I got the free main skill from having 390 sleep styles. I got my Entei to level 5 now, which is just insane. Very nice. So... very happy to have that. One more main skill seed and this guy is max, and despite only having a level 5 skill, it's one of my top 4 RP Pokemon, which I think is absurd. I wouldn't be surprised if he overpasses my Gigachu in terms of RP once he gets that level 6 main skill, because every time he's been jumping up like 4 or so. And right now, they're honestly not that far apart, because we're talking about 3,800. Okay, 5,900 is also pretty insane. Never mind, it might not pass that. We'll see. But it's definitely gonna pop up to at least be between my Gardevoir and Gengar. Maybe above the Gardevoir. We'll see. I'm excited for it. He also needs to level up. When he gets to level 50 and gets that Help Speed M, mwah. Like, that Help Speed M is gonna be huge. So yeah. Kind of looking forward to that. Now, I kind of want to talk about my plans with the upcoming event. Or not the upcoming event. I want to talk long-term plans. I've kind of talked about what I'm planning on doing for the event. I've got this Scone team. I've got the Raichus running with the Gengar. I'm making scones with the stockpiled ingredient week 2. Week 1, I'm just going to rely primarily on the berries, as I'm not caring too much about strength during week 1, because I know it's going to be weaker overall. Because A, this meal is going to be weaker. Which actually, I'm not going to be making the meal week 1, so it's actually not going to get stronger. But the biggest thing is the map bonus. It's only going to be at 5% bonus week 1, but week 2 it's going to be at 10%. So I am hoping that week 2 I'm able to push higher highs and see more cool stuff. So I like getting the high drowsy power, even if it's not necessarily the most optimal play all the time. I know that to see what you want to see, it's sometimes better to stay at a lower level. But I want to talk about the new Pokemon. I did briefly last night when I did my video talking about their ingredients lists. And I think I gave Luxray a bit of a hard time last night. If we look at the final evolutions, and we look at the brand new dishes infographic, as you can see, they added the new meals in, so it's gotten longer, and they added coffee in here as well. Sorry about that. And they added the new highest tier meals and the new mid meals that they added as well. So I think the biggest thing for the Luxray, if I see one, I'm not going to be upset. Unfortunately at this point, we still don't know Luxray's ingredient list, or ingredient rate at all. We don't even have an estimate. At this point, 28.5 seems to be pretty fixed for the Aggron. 19.4 seems to be pretty fixed for the Vikavolt. It's been this way for a couple hours already. I imagine it's not going to vary too much from these numbers at this point. When they first get these numbers, they can fluctuate quite a bit, and I have been gotten into a false sense of security that these Pokemon are going to be insanely busted based off of first estimates in the past. But then been disappointed when they're like, actually, new data shows that they're actually a lower ingredient rate. And then I'm like, oh, that's sad. So, but it's been a while now. These are probably pretty fixed. And also a lot of people are looking at the Aggron and the Vikavolt. So, we just still don't know Luxray, though. But where I gave Luxray a hard time before, I think there is actually a little bit of potential. First off, tomatoes are in the newest dish, the newest high-tier dish for curries. And tomatoes don't really synergize that well with any of these, except for maybe a Doug Trio with the beans and the tomatoes. But it's not going to be making quite that much. So, I mean, yeah, the Luxray has got it better with Mono Tomato. And there are other Mono Tomato options that we all probably have by the time that you'd be able to unlock Luxray. But at the same time, like, understand, I think the better purpose for Luxray is on a mixed ingredient list to just make this Spore Mushroom Salad. It's not an amazing meal, but the meal that I always like so much is the Neroli's Restorative Tea. And the reason why I like it so much is because I'm able to run Gengar, which for me, personally, is a very strong berry specialist that happens to make ingredients on the side. And it also takes ginger and apples, which is on... I can use my 2 Raichus to consistently make that. So it's like running a few berry specialists to make a mid-meal. Well, with the Spore Mushroom Salad, it's using more of those mushrooms from the Gengar. So, you get more value out of the Gengar, and it takes just oil and tomatoes, which the Luxray has. Which is pretty huge, because then you can just run the Luxray alongside a Gengar and make the Spore Mushroom Salad, and it's actually stronger than the Restorative Tea. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, pretty useful, and if you have the right Pokemon for it, I think there is something to be said about building around this. Additionally, since it's in proportions of 8 and 8, 8 oil and 8 tomatoes, even a bad Luxray is going to be able to make that consistently. So you can do day team, night team strats, putting the Luxray on only during the day as you need the ingredients, and then swap it out for a Berry Specialist at night to get more value through the night with Sneaky Snacking. So I think there's something interesting with the Luxray here. So, but I don't think it's top priority. It's not the best of the new mons, but I think it deserves a little more credit than I first gave it in my initial evaluation. Other than that, though, I mean, it's got the coffee, it's got oil and tomato. I mean, there's the coffee tomato here, there's the coffee oil here, but there's so many other things that just cover this better that, maybe AAC could be kind of useful, but I don't know. The ones that I'm really excited about, though, are primarily Aggron as a secondary. Unfortunately, the one that the Aggron synergizes real well for, this one takes the most amount of coffee. And unless you get just, like, the most absurdly strong Aggron in the world, you're not making this much coffee and this much sausage at the same time. You need to roll the absolute amazing stats. However, there's something to be said about if you are prepping for the next week, you can always make up for, like, you can kind of semi-predict the amount of ingredients you'll be missing and make for it, and then you're using the entire ingredients made by that Pokemon and then just using a little bit in the bag on the side. So there still is something here, I think, especially if you have a good Cramorant with oil and potatoes. But for my personal strategy, I happened to stumble upon a very good Toxicroak, and I just realized I closed out of team analysis. Give me a minute here. Alrighty, team analysis. Now, so that's the team I'm running during the event, these two. First I wanted to design the berry baseline. As you know, I like to grade myself with this, and I'm looking for long-term investment, so I'm looking at level 60 and beyond. So what's my baseline? Which means you're just not accounting for meals, and this is for weeks that I'm able to prep for, which means I'm running good camp ticket. So good camp ticket, and given prep time, which means I have stockpiled ingredients. However, with the baseline, you're not really, with the berry baseline, you're not really considering stockpiling ingredients because you're just looking at what is the lowest reasonable team to build. So I put it in for Old Gold Power Plant just for kind of reference because it's where I'm intending to be for as far as the foreseeable future. Pretty much unless there's an event that doesn't include it, I am going to be there until this thing hits 75% island bonus. And even then, I might still keep going there. So, because I'm just going to get absurdly high drowsy powers, which means I'm going to get really good spawns and get a lot of dream shards because I need those dream shards. So, yeah. Well, 2.7 million is about where our berry baseline is for good camp ticket at Old Gold Power Plant with my current settings. If I was to adjust the island bonus, then this would get a little higher, but if those settings are going to be kept the same across the board. So then I was like, well, if I'm looking for long-term investment, and I'm trying to build around these top-tier meals, what sort of synergy stuff can I have going on? And I was like, well, how do I cover the most ingredients that I can with the Pokemon available to me? And I really looked through it, and for this Hidden Power Perk Stew, my best option really is to run my Gengar, and then it was like question between the soybeans and the tomatoes for the Victory Bell. I ultimately ended up settling on the Victory Bell because I can produce it all during the day and have tomatoes to spare. So, and for all of this, for all this demonstration, I'm going to explain why this is why I want a Vikavolt, and I will not settle for a Vikavolt with less than a mono ingredient, than the coffee production of a mono ingredient list with ingredient finding up, or ingredient finding M. Now, this can be outproduced by some ABA lists. It may be outproduced by some AAC lists if they have just pristine stats. But I will not settle for a Vikavolt that produces less than this. And yeah, it looks like a little bit much because of this, but I like the flexibility here. So, let's get into what these teams that I've designed are. So, this one, as you can see, it makes the top tier Curry with really just 3 Pokemon. It's not using any of the apples from the Raichu or any of the stuff from Gardevoir. So, and it's making it consistently while doing day team, night team strats. And one interesting thing about this one is that the night team, none of them, aside from the Gengar, need to be here. So there's a lot of flexibility on this team. I like this team a lot because there's 1 slot of flexibility, there's 1 flex spot on the day team, and 3 spots of flex on the night team. Which, as you'll see going forward here, is the most I'm going to get, for the night team at least. So, which is the biggest for the berry specialists, since they sneaky snack at night. So, yeah. 3.1 million overall, which does beat our baseline of 2.7 million, so it is worth considering. Worth considering, and very flexible to swap out Pokemon as needed on the night team for berry specialists that match an island if I was to go somewhere else. So, I think this is a very strong option. Now let's get to the one that was on the flip side, the salad team. Now, while this is an option for me, it is my least favorite of them, and really, I don't think I'd be considering this unless we have Flower Festival V2, and even then, I don't think I'm going to have the Toxicroak at level 60 by then, if they do that same event. So it's not really worth considering even then, because it requires the Toxicroak to be level 60. Now I'm making these teams with only Pokemon I currently have in my box, if I got them to level 60. And as you can see, 3.1 mil, it's a little bit higher than the Curry team. But the biggest weakness in it is I can't swap this Vikavolt out with anything, even for the nighttime. So he is stuck there, and same with the Toxicroak, because I'm using every last ingredient these guys are producing. Not quite every last ingredient of the Vikavolt, but if I were to cut them out even for the nighttime, I'd lose just enough coffee beans per day that it doesn't... I can't do it. So, and on top of that, I need to stockpile so many ingredients. 665 is a bit absurd. In fact, so much so that it may actually be impossible because you need 28 sausage and 22 oil, which that's a 50 more ingredients. So as of current ingredient bag size, this meal is actually impossible to prep for. Oh wait, no, because I'd have some oil stockpiled as well. So I guess I could do it, because I would get 22 sausage from, or 28 sausage from it before making it. So, oh, and I have the sausage as well. Okay. Just the coffee. But yeah, I'd have to stockpile so much. I'd have to level a Toxicroak. And even then, it's not that much better than the Curry team. So, like, this team would only be worth consideration in fixed salad weeks. However, benefits of it, it does have two flex slots, which is the most that I have on any of these teams for the day and night combined. Because I'm really just making the meal with the Toxicroak, the Vikavolt, and the stuff that's in my bag. So, interesting potential here, especially since it's the most flexible during the day. It's less flexible than the Curry team at nighttime, because the night team is 3 berry specialists that I can swap, and the day team's only 1. But I just don't think that there's that much potential to be worth investing this highly into a Toxicroak, when, personally, I think Toxicroak is due for a... I think it is due for a power creep eventually. If you look at the stats behind it, Toxicroak is... It's the best oil producer. It is, but just because it's the best at it doesn't mean it's good at it. And of all the ingredients, oil is one of them that... Yeah, there are a lot of Pokemon that make oil. A lot of Pokemon that make oil. But none of them make them in quite the amounts that other mono ingredient specialists make. So even though oil is very widely distributed, I think it's due to get a new mono option eventually. It may be sometime still because they just added Cramorant, but Desserts. Now, the Desserts team, as you can see, is my strongest team, 3.35 mil, but it's also the one that has the least amount of flexibility in the long-term run. So, once again, that mono coffee Vikavolt. And in all of these teams, it has the ingredient finding M, which is just barely what it needs. I'm not going to keep hunting until I find the best in the world. Just need this. If I can make this, I'm happy. If it's better and has the mushrooms in there, you know, I'll be a little more happy. As long as it still produces the same amount as this guy. The 84.48 per day. But yeah. Quaquaval for leeks. And then using my Raichus for ginger and apples. They don't produce quite enough, so I had to do some backstocking. But as you can see here, it's the one that's got the least amount of backstocking. If we go back to curries, we needed 588 soybeans stockpiled. If we go back to the salads, we needed 665 ingredients stockpiled. This one only takes 350, so there's a lot more flexibility. I could probably I might be able to actually completely drop the Quaquaval for this, if I'm being honest. Actually, the Vikavolt. I could probably completely drop the Vikavolt, honestly, because the meal only takes... The meal only takes 12 or 36 a day for coffee beans. So, 36 a day, 7 days a week, that's 252. And then 252 plus the 350 there is 602. So, I actually, with this team, have the flexibility to drop the Vikavolt and throw in another berry specialist in both the day and, well, the night team is completely flexible, but not because it requires the apples and the ginger from these Raichus. So really, this is the only one that's flexible. But I could even swap out another day team slot of flexibility if I wanted to. If I wanted to do more stockpiling, which I probably would if I'm really gunning for this. But it's the strongest, and it's got the least amount of flexibility. It's the strongest at the Old Gold power plant. At other islands, it may not be as strong, but I do like it, so I'm going to keep it in consideration. And honestly, of all these ones, out of all the teams, it's my one that's most likely to hit level 60, because the Quaquaval, its leaks are so good in the meta right now. I could use it in so many different teams. It's not even just this team, but I had another theoretical team earlier with the, I think it was the Ninja Curry, and the Ninja... In both Ninja Curry and Ninja Salad, Quaquaval is just so valuable. And it's the only Pokemon really able to kick out 60 leaks a day at level 60. Which, as you can see, it's not with this because I'm only running it during the day and not the night. But it's the only one able to really reach that threshold that we need for the new Curry. So it's just so powerful. And having that soybean on there is just so gorgeous for Ninja Curries and Ninja Salads. So I'm probably eventually going to get the Quaquaval to level 60 anyway. If I get Vikavolt, given that it is the coffee Pokemon, there's some competition with Aggron, but given that it is primarily the winner for coffee Pokemon, I think I'm going to get a Vikavolt. I'm not going to stop the Vikavolt hunt until I get a good one. It is now my top priority. And I just want to get it to level 60, so I'm going to get that guy high enough level. And then the Raichus, I mean, I'm running my Raichus all the time, especially if I'm spending that much time at Old Gold Power Plant. The only one that's questionable is this guy, who I really do want to get to level 75 eventually, but I only threw him in there because I didn't know who else to put in there. So actually, there could be a stronger Pokemon here, because when this guy eventually gets level 75... Oof! Just look at that. Jumped over 300,000 in the projected. We don't know what past level 60 is going to make. But I just like planning for level 60 like this sometimes. Even if I never actually make these teams, which I probably won't, because most likely there will be better options by them, whether I catch them, or whether a new recipe's been announced, or new Pokemon are released that power creep old options. I still like to plan around these teams because even if something power creeps this, I'm still making it to Master 13 on Old Gold Power Plant with a 5% boost. Like, in fact, if I crank up the island bonus to 75%, boom, I'm making it to Master 19. Master 19. At the Old Gold Power Plant, the new highest one at the thing. By the time that I'd be able to do this, they're probably going to have beyond level 60. In fact, if they eventually add to level 75, I'm still not quite to Master 20. But if this guy also reaches level 75, like, I mean, it's still not quite there. Man, Master 20 is insane. That should kind of go without saying, though. Okay, I guess maybe not a level 75 team can get there, but oh well. Oh, there we go. Level 75. There we get it. But still, I'm excited because I've got potential here. I just need the Vikavolt. It's the one opening in my team slots. Now, I think there's some potential with the Aggron in the Defiant Coffee Dressed Salad, especially because it does have a much higher ingredient rate than the Vikavolt. But if we check out the production comparison, I mean, I ran this earlier, and the Aggron produces about 25% less, or the Vikavolt produces about 25% more coffee than the Aggron. Wow, what is my computer doing right now? There we go. So I just throw in a Vikavolt with mono. Vikavolt compared to Aggron. Where is he? Where is our favorite Steel boy? Sorry, Steelix. Sorry, Magnemite. Line. I'm gonna do this. There we go. Oh, dang it. I made a Lyron. Okay, Aggron. Level 60. And we make them compete with each other for coffee. If we're just gonna assume full inventory and not sleeping... Oh, wait, nope, not full inventory. Infinite inventory. Because they're ingredient specialists, and you might want to be, like, doing day team, night team strats. You can see it's about 71 versus 58, which is significantly in favor of the Vikavolt. And this 58, I mean, if you have the right stats, you're looking for 28 per day. Or 28 per meal, which is 84 per day. So, I mean, it's possible. If you do this, then you get 92. So, I'm going to be hunting the Aggron as well, because it can reach those thresholds. But ideally, I want the Vikavolt, because it should be easier to get the right sub-skills on the Vikavolt. However, who knows? Because even though the Aggron will require better sub-skills to get the target amount of coffee, the Vikavolt, it's got an ABB list for coffee, versus the Vikavolt has a mono A. So that's a rarer... This list is half as common as the Aggron's list. So realistically, my plan for Old Gold Power Plant, I am fully intending to just hunt both of these Pokemon. If I don't see either of them, and I happen to see a Shinx, you know what? It's new. There's some cool stuff with the oil and tomatoes. So you know what? Sure, I'll catch it. But it's at the bottom of my priority list. I would ultimately just like to catch these guys. Which really, I just feel bad for Luxray. It deserves so much better. Like, why didn't they just swap this sausage requirement with this tomato requirement? Because that'd be better for both Aggron and Luxray. Because then Luxray would have a little bit more synergy in the Defiant Coffee Dressed Salad. And the hidden power-up perks too. is closer to the ratios of A, B, B, Agron. So it's easier for both of them. Oh, I guess it wouldn't be, because they'd be producing more sausage than coffee, so maybe I'm wrong there. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about all the time. I like these Pokemon, though. I'm glad my 2 favorites were the ones that weren't done dirty. I like the Luxray, but I like these guys more. So, yeah. I guess that's kind of what my plans are. I'm excited for the future. Ways down the road, I've got the options, but that's really what I'm looking for, is just that coffee producer that at level 60 can output at least 84 a day. So, I hope you maybe learned something looking through my processing of how to plan teams for the future. This is all kind of excessive because I'm probably never going to actually run this team, but I think it's a good way to get a feel for what is good and what is not. So, thank you all for watching. Bye.